Honestly, the end of November is looking just as good as the beginning of November. We're getting close to Christmas, so all the releases are happening, but man, it's gonna be a rough couple weeks for my wallet. Not for sneaker releases. It's gonna be dope for sneaker releases. What's up, everybody? I'm Seth Fowler, and this is Sit or Sell. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't yet, and also make sure to give me a follow on Instagram and on Twitter at RealSethFowler. But before we jump into the video, I want to give a huge thank you to the sponsor, Shoptagger. Shoptagger allows you to tag things online that you were thinking about buying so that you can see when they go on sale or when the price drops. Not only that, but they also tell you when things come back in stock, which I've found very useful over the last couple weeks. I actually just picked up the brand new Xbox Series X, which I've unboxed on my second channel. Make sure to check that video out. But the way that I was able to know that the pre-order was actually happening was because Shoptagger let me know. So if you're like a lot of people out there who want to grab the new systems but missed out on the pre-orders, you should definitely use Shoptagger to tag the items so that you know exactly when they come right back into stock. And of course, using Shoptagger is really easy. All you have to do is click the link in the description below and download the Chrome extension. And then go to the webpage of the item that you're trying to grab. In this case, it's the Xbox Series X, and of course, it's sold out, and tag the item through Shoptagger. Shoptagger allows you to set up notifications so you know exactly when this item is back in stock. They'll shoot you an email, they'll send you a notification through the app, or they'll let you know through the Chrome tab. And of course, Shoptagger also sends sale notifications. And being able to know whether the Xbox Series X or even PlayStation 5 is in stock is going to be so important on Black Friday and around the holidays. And speaking of the holidays, if you're trying to leave someone a little hint, you can actually wish list items on Shoptagger by tagging them and then wish listing them. Not only that, but Shoptagger helps you at checkout too. It scans the internet for all the coupon codes available for the item that you're purchasing so that you can be guaranteed that you're getting the best deal possible. As of right now, this feature is only available on desktop and not on mobile just yet. And even better, Shoptagger just started their own cash back program which pays you through PayPal. Shoptagger has a huge list of websites that will give you cash back for just buying items on those websites. So if you would like to check out Shoptagger for yourself, which I definitely recommend, make sure to click the link in the description below. And in order to save as much money as possible, make sure to download Shoptagger on both your computer and on your phone. Once again, huge thank you to Shoptagger for sponsoring today's video and being a longtime supporter of the channel, but now let's get back into it. So in today's video, we're covering all the sneaker releases in the second half of November 2020. And there's a bunch of sneaker releases and a bunch of them are gonna fly. It's gonna be really hard to get a lot of these shoes. We've got Yeezys, we've got Jordan 1s, we've got Dunks. In fact, there's one Dunk in particular I'm very excited about. It's gonna be an insane month for sneaker releases and I hope you're ready. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So starting things off on November 14th, we've got the Nike Kyrie 7 Sisterhood. This Nike Kyrie 7 comes in primarily deep blue with light gum accents on the outsole and on the Nike swoosh. The shoe also features black laces and a black sock liner, and overall, it's a pretty clean look for the Kyrie 7. As nice and as clean as the Sisterhood Kyrie 7 colorway is, I think it's going to be a GR release, and for that reason, I think it's going to sit on shelves. Next up, we've got the women's Nike Space Hippie 04 in iron gray. Out of all the Space Hippie silhouettes, the Space Hippie 4 has released the most times, and I'm not exactly sure why that is. So far, the Space Hippie 4 has been primarily a women's only model, which is kind of a bummer because I know a lot of people really like this silhouette and would be happy to have any of the Space Hippies. If you're not familiar with Nike's Space Hippie program, it's basically them trying to use recycled materials in their sneakers, and apparently 50% of the weight of each one of these Space Hippie sneakers is made up of recycled materials. Now that doesn't mean that 50% of the sneaker overall is made up of recycled materials, just the weight of the sneaker. So it could be that there's a lot of heavy recycled materials used in the midsole and the outsole, which is what I think is happening, and the rest of the shoe might not be recycled at all. The midsole and outsole of the sneaker feature Nike Grind, which is ground up Nike outsoles that either weren't used or have been returned to Nike, and you can actually see the Nike Grind as a speckled texture on the midsole and the outsole of the Space Hippie 4. I really like this sneaker, but I really wish that Nike would come out with more Space Hippie 1s and Space Hippie 3s. Those are my favorite silhouettes that they had dropped in the Space Hippie collection, but it looks like for now we're only really getting Space Hippie 4s. And because I feel like they might have flooded the market with Space Hippie 4s, the Space Hippie 4 just isn't as popular as it used to be, and for that reason, I think the shoe might sit. And then rounding off November 14th, we've got the Air Jordan 1 Cojp in Midnight Navy. This Midnight Navy colorway was first released back in the early 2000s as a Japan exclusive, and is also the follow-up to that silver colorway that released earlier this year. And out of the two Cojp colorways we've had released so far in 2020, this one is definitely my favorite. I feel like the contrast between the white leather and the navy suede on the shoe really makes this sneaker look a lot more interesting than the first colorway. And I'm also just a sucker for blue, so this shoe is right up my alley. Because because the Jordan 1s are still such a popular silhouette, and also because this colorway is probably going to be pretty limited, I would definitely think that this sneaker is going to sell out. Then moving on to November 18th, we've got a Ninja collaboration on the Adidas ZX 2K Boost in the Time In colorway. It's crazy to me, in a good way, that an esports player has an Adidas collaboration on multiple sneakers. Not even just one, he's got multiple Adidas shoes dropping. And while I gotta be honest, I'm not in love with any of the sneakers that he's dropped so far, you can't take away the fact that he's really accomplished a lot. This shoe comes in a relatively plain blue and white makeup, and the blue definitely matches Ninja's hair, which I think is what he was going for with this sneaker. Or maybe he doesn't have blue hair anymore. I'm not totally sure. I don't really follow Ninja like that, but I think the inspiration is his hair. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section down below. Of course, the shoe features Ninja details throughout, like his Ninja logo, and the ZX 2K Boost is also a pretty solid sneaker overall, so even if you don't care about Ninja, it's still a good shoe. But even though the shoe is a collaboration with one of the most popular internet celebrities of the moment, I haven't seen a lot of his other collabs sell out, so because of that, I think the shoe is also gonna sit. And then finishing off the 18th, we've got the women's Air Jordan 1 Mid Homecoming. While Air Jordan 1 Mids have not been the most loved Air Jordan silhouette, over the last year or so they've become increasingly popular. And I've gotta say, this women's Homecoming colorway is pretty solid. It comes in a white leather upper accented by red details on the sides of the shoe, as well as a blue and gold Nike swoosh and a gold Wings logo. But my personal favorite detail is actually the gum outsole, because you really just don't see a lot of gum outsoles in Jordan 1s, and they always look really good. Because this colorway comes in a mid-top Jordan 1 silhouette, it might not be for everybody, and also it's a women's only silhouette, which means that it's only going to come in smaller sizes, so Bigfoot gang won't even be able to get pairs of themselves regardless, but I still think it's going to be a popular sneaker nonetheless, and I definitely think this shoe is going to sell out. Then moving on to the 19th, we've got the Hot Ones Reebok Shagnosis. Yes, you did hear that right. Hot Ones, the YouTube show and now TV show, actually did get a sneaker collaboration. And as far as kind of random sneaker collaborations go, this is one of the best. It's a super clean looking sneaker. This Shagnosis comes in primarily black with colorful piping that actually represents a Scoville scale. The bottom piping comes in green and the highest comes in red, which of course is the hottest peppers. I don't know, it's a cool concept, it's a cool shoe. I don't know if it's gonna be that popular, but I would expect that it's gonna be a pretty limited sneaker, and for that reason, I think the shoe might sell out. After that, we've got the Nike Air Max 1 Anniversary in Magma Orange. I gotta say, this is a pretty clean Air Max 1 and comes in pretty much the same color blocking as the original Air Max 1, except instead of red, you've got orange. In my opinion, this is the definition of clean and simple, and it's one of the best Air Max 1s to release in a long time, and I'm definitely gonna try and go for this release myself. Because this Magma Orange colorway is so clean, and because the shoe is also probably gonna be pretty limited, I would expect this shoe to sell out. Following that up and also releasing on the 19th, we've got the Nike Dunk Low Ceramic. Like the Midnight Navy Jordan 1s that we talked about earlier, this colorway is also a retro of a Japan exclusive sneaker. And also like those Cojp Jordan 1s, this shoe released in 2001 originally. I think it's fair to say that because Dunks are one of the most popular sneaker silhouettes out right now, people will be going for this shoe regardless of what it looks like, but I do genuinely think this is a pretty good looking sneaker. It features a darker shade of orange on the upper, some black, as well as a dark green on the Nike swoosh. It almost has like an Orioles vibe to it, which I'm not against. I mean, if you consider the Nike swoosh being like the turf or the grass in the field, I don't know, I'm kind of reaching with that one, but it's not a bad looking sneaker. Again though, because this shoe is a Nike Dunk, I expect it to sell out regardless of how it looks, even though it's a pretty good looking sneaker. And then finishing off the 19th, we've got the Adidas Pharrell Human Race NMD in black. I've actually already done a review of this sneaker because Soul by JC was nice enough to send me a pair, and if you guys want to check that video out and learn my full thoughts, there will be a link at the top of the screen. As far as Pharrell's go, I think it's one of the cleaner Pharrell Human Race NMDs, especially because it comes in almost entirely black, and if you do like sort of accent colors, you will like the fact that this shoe comes with bright white laces. Just like every other Pharrell, this shoe features a full-length boost midsole and a prime knit upper, and it's surprisingly comfortable on feet if you've never worn a pair of Pharrell's before. And just like every other Pharrell Human Race NMD that's released recently, this shoe will most likely sell out. Then moving on to November 20th, we've got the Nike Air Foamposite 1 in black Team Royal. This Nike Foamposite 1 looks exactly how you would think it would look if I just described the colorway to you. It's a black upper with some royal accents and a little bit of red thrown in. It's nothing really special, it's nothing really that exciting, and because of that, I don't think anyone's going to be running out to the store to buy it. So for that reason, I'm going to give this shoe a sit. After that, and also on the 20th, we've got two more colorways of the Adidas Pharrell Williams Human Race NMDs dropping. These two colorways include an aqua colorway, which is essentially just a light blue Pharrell Williams Human Race NMD with a black sock liner, and then the pink colorway, which is pretty much the same color blocking except in pink. Both of these monochromatic colorways look pretty solid, and one thing I like about them is that the tones of blue and the tones of pink that they use in these shoes remain relatively the same all the way throughout the sneaker. I don't know, if I had to pick one of these two colorways for myself, I might actually go with the pink colorway colorway because I have like no pink shoes and I feel like that'd be a pretty cool look. I don't know, but I'd be happy with either of these two colorways. I think they're both pretty clean, and because they're both Pharrell Williams Human Race NMDs, I think they both will sell out. Then on the following day, the 21st, we've got another Adidas Pharrell Human Race NMD, this time around in the orange colorway. This is a very similar shoe to the other Pharrell Human Race NMDs that we just talked about, except this time around, it comes in bright orange. There are seemingly two different tones of orange on this shoe. There's a darker orange on the upper and a darker orange on the boost midsole, and then a lighter orange around the laces and on the midfoot cage. And of course, you've still got that black sock liner rounding off the look, and it's a pretty good looking Pharrell, and if you like orange better than any of the other colorways that we've talked about, this is the shoe for you. But just like with the other Pharrells, if you like this colorway, don't sleep on it because I think this colorway will also sell out. And then rounding off the 21st, we've got the Concepts Nike Dunk High Turducken. This is obviously a Thanksgiving themed shoe, especially since the name is Turducken, which if you don't know is when you get a turkey and you put a duck inside and then you eat them both together. It's a crazy tradition. I've never actually done it, but I feel like I want to try it. The shoe features a ton of different materials on the upper. You've got suedes and nubucks and some furry material that kind of looks like sheepskin. I'm not 100% sure what it is. And then also what seems to be leather, but I'm not totally sure because I can't really tell from this picture. The colorway of the shoe is an alternating dark brown and light tan, accented by a blue Nike swoosh, a tan midsole, and a pink outsole. Oh, actually, correction, I just checked the sneakers app and apparently it's called the Nike Duck High Mallard. That's right, Nike Duck High is what they're officially calling it. And it's not called the Turducken, it's called the Mallard. It's a duck themed shoe. It's coming out around Thanksgiving though, so it really looks like a Thanksgiving themed shoe. I don't know, it's a fire shoe regardless of which bird inspired this sneaker, I'm into it. And what I love about this shoe is how much it reminds me of Dunks from the mid-2000s. This looks like it could have come out in 2006 and everyone would have loved it. And I think it's a great looking sneaker and one that I'm definitely gonna try and pick up. And also, it's a dunk, so it's probably gonna sell out. Then moving on to November 23rd, we've got the women's Nike Dunk Low Disrupt in Platinum Violet. I guess I get where they got the name Platinum Violet, but to me this looks more like a pink Nike Dunk Low Disrupt. I guess it doesn't really matter either way, but to me it looks more like pink than any shade of violet. If you're not familiar with the Nike Dunk Low Disrupts, they're women's exclusive colorway that sort of is a new take on the Nike Dunk Lows, and they exaggerate certain parts of the shoe and make certain parts bigger and certain parts smaller. It's a weird look. If you're into that, great. If you're not, you can just let the shoe go. However, so far the shoe has been relatively popular and almost all the colorways have sold out, and because of that, I think even though this is a light pink version of platinum, violet, whatever you want to call it, even though it's a platinum violet colorway of the shoe, I think it's still going to be very popular, and because of that, I think the shoe is going to sell. After that, we've got the Nike Air Max 1 Spiral Sage. Like the AM1 Magma Orange that we talked about earlier, this shoe comes in a very similar colorway except switches out the orange for light green. This colorway is definitely a toned down look on the Air Max 1, especially when compared to the orange colorway and the red colorway and also the blue colorway, but I think some people will prefer this colorway over those colorways because it's easier to rock. My personal favorite detail on this shoe though is the little mini white Nike swoosh on the front lateral side of the shoe. I love when Nike does mini Nike swooshes, and I think it fits in perfectly on this colorway. And honestly, I do expect this colorway to be somewhat limited, and I think a lot of people will be going for it, so I definitely think this shoe is going to sell out. Then arriving on November 24th, we've got the Nike Cojp 5 Protro Bruce Lee. This Nike Cojp 5 Protro Bruce Lee looks identical to the original Bruce Lee drop. However, instead of being a standard Cojp 5, it's a Protro Cojp 5. I've got to say, I love Cojp Protros. I love the fact that Cojp wanted to make his retros not just standard retros, but upgraded retros that look exactly the same but feature new basketball tech. That was such a cool idea, and I'm so happy that they're actually moving forward with that, and I think the Cojp 5 Protro is definitely going to be a shoe that's worth picking up. Like the original Cojp 5 Bruce Lee, this Cojp 5 Protro features a yellow and black upper, accented by red scratch marks towards the front of the shoe. And also, being one of the most popular Cojp colorways of all time, this shoe is going to be incredibly difficult to get, and it's also going to be very limited. So because of that, I definitely think this shoe is going to sell out. Moving on to November 25th, we've got another Pharrell Williams Human Race NMD, this time around in white. I'm not exactly sure why Adidas is spreading out these Pharrell Williams Human Race NMD releases, or if maybe I just have some bad information, but either way, it's kind of weird. This colorway, like all the other colorways that we talked about, comes in a primarily monochromatic look, this time around coming in primarily white. As much as I like the look of this sneaker, I'm just afraid of wearing white knit shoes. I have some white Ultra Boosts and they got dirty so fast, I just know that these shoes are going to get destroyed so quickly. Regardless, I think this is going to be a popular colorway. I think a lot of people are going to go for it, and I think this shoe is definitely going to sell out. And then finishing off November 25th, we've got the Peace Minus One Nike Air Force 1 Low Paranoise 2.0. That's a long name. This shoe is G-Dragon's second collaboration with Nike, and to be honest with you, it looks pretty similar. This AF1 Low comes in a primarily white upper, accented by a black snakeskin Nike swoosh, as well as black laces. But the main detail that differentiates this collaboration from other Air Force Ones are the black paint smears on the midsole. It's definitely an interesting look, and if you're a fan of G-Dragon or South Korean culture, I think this shoe is definitely one that's worth picking up. However, you're probably going to have a pretty hard time doing that because the last collaboration sold out like that, and I think this colorway will also do the same thing. Continuing on to November 27th, we've got the Nike Adapt Auto Max in triple black. As you might be able to tell from the name of this sneaker, this is a self-lacing lifestyle shoe. It features Nike's Adapt technology and also a ridiculously bulky midsole for some reason. I'm not sure why they did that. None of the other Adapt sneakers have a midsole that's that thick, but for whatever reason, it's a style choice, and I guess people are into it. Well, to be fair, maybe not that into it because the shoe so far hasn't done that well, and I think this triple black colorway is not going to do much to move the needle, so for that reason, I think the shoe is going to sit. Also dropping on November 27th, we've got two different variants of the Adidas Yeezy Boost 380 Onyx. The two versions of this shoe dropping are the reflective version and the non-reflective version. The reflective version features 3M woven throughout the upper, and the non-reflective version doesn't. This Onyx Yeezy Boost 380 has been rumored for years at this point. In fact, it was supposed to release, or supposedly supposed to release, last year. But finally, near the end of 2020, we're getting the black or Onyx colorway of the 380, and while it might not be as popular as the first colorway, I think it's going to be one of the more popular 380 colorways to release. Obviously, the reflective version of the shoe will be more limited and will also probably be worth more on the resale market, but I think both shoes will be popular, and I think both shoes will sell out. Then on November 28th, we've got the return of a classic with the Air Jordan 4 Fire Red. So I actually just reviewed this sneaker last week, and if you would like to check out my entire thoughts on this shoe and my full review, make sure to click the link at the top of the screen. The Jordan 4 Fire Red is by far one of the most popular Air Jordan 4 colorways of all time, and it's a personal favorite. Red on Jordans is like one of those pairings that's like peanut butter and jelly. It just makes sense, and this shoe is one of the best looking Jordan 4s of all time because it has red on it. Now I'm sure that Nike and Jordan Brand are going to be making a ton of these pairs available. However, because this colorway is so popular, because it's been years since we've had a retro of this shoe, I know for a fact that this colorway will definitely sell out. And then finally, on November 30th, the last day that we're covering in today's video, we've got a restock of the Adidas Yeezy 500 in the utility black colorway. It's weird having barely any 500s, if any, release in 2020. I don't think any 500s have released this year. And it's kind of disappointing that the only release is really a restock. To be fair though, the utility black colorway is a pretty solid 500 colorway, but man, I wish we had some new 500s drop. I feel like the Yeezy 500 is one of those underrated Yeezy models. Not everyone loves it, but I think that they should because of how comfortable it is and how weird it looks. At the end of the day, whether you like the 500s in the utility black colorway or not, I think there's a lot of people out there who really want to grab this shoe, and because of that, I think it's gonna sell. And then finally, rounding off the video, we've got the patent leather Air Jordan 1s in black metallic gold. To my knowledge, this is the first time that this colorway is released on an Air Jordan 1 high. I believe it's released on a mid, but I don't think it's ever actually had an official public release on a high. A majority of the upper of this sneaker is covered in black patent leather, accented by metallic gold around the ankle and on the Nike swoosh. I'm personally not a huge fan of patent leather Jordan 1s, I just don't love the way that they feel on my feet, but if you like this shoe and you love the history of this shoe, this is a must cop. Unfortunately though, this shoe will most likely not be very easy to grab because it's going to be pretty limited and a lot of people want it. And obviously, I think that this shoe will sell out. But with that, we wrap up the sneaker releases for today. Now, I would love to know your thoughts on all of these releases and which shoes you're looking forward to most. So let me know in the comment section down below. Once again, huge shout out to Shoptagger for sponsoring today's video. If you would like to check them out, make sure to click the link in the description below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.